Alright, we're going to start this video series concerning the quiz over the cell cycle. Now we'll note that this is mainly focused on mitosis with a few questions comparing it to meiosis, but a lot of those concepts can be applied across the entire cell cycle. So this first question, number 1. The picture below shows the 8-cell stage in the development of a rat embryo. A researcher will compare the proteins found in the cells of the embryo. Which results are most likely from this comparison? Well, we're dealing with a rat, and so whether it be a rat, a human, any upper animal is going to start out as one cell. And that one cell is going to have one copy of the DNA. And then that's going to go through the process of mitosis, creating new cells through division. And so that's now going to have 2 cells, again having the same DNA. And then it's going to go through it again and get to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get to this 8 stage where you have 8 cells. And again, they all are going to have the same DNA because it all started from the same copy. And so this question, its choices all deal with proteins. We remember DNA is the instructions to make proteins. And so if we have the same DNA, you should get the same proteins. So if we're looking at these choices, on A, the proteins are very similar to each other from one cell to the next. Now, we're looking for most likely, so it's also going to be best answer, which it may not be a perfect answer, or it may be that you have 2 answers that are both pretty good answers. You got to choose the best one. A is a pretty good answer because they're similar, they're the same. Let's see if there's a better answer. The proteins in each of the cells are distinct from those in each of the other cells. What is distinct? What does distinct mean? Distinct means different. And so, being that they're different, B is going to be incorrect. The cells can be divided into 2 equal groups with similar proteins only among the cells in each of that group. Well, yeah, we could divide them into 2 equal groups. It could be groups of 4 and 4. But similar proteins only among each group? No. It would be all the cells. Both groups would be the same. So C is incorrect. The cells can be divided into 2 unequal groups with similar proteins only among the cells in each group. Again, all the cells will be similar. And so that comes back and shows us that A is going to be the correct answer. All right, moving on. Question number 2 says, which statement correctly describes how mitosis and meiosis are similar? All right, so we're looking for ways they are the same. Well, let's just go ahead and let's look at mitosis and meiosis, how they compare. Mitosis. It is cell division of the body cells. It makes 2 cells. They are identical, or basically identical. They make diploid cells, which means they have 2 copies of the DNA or of the chromosomes. Let's see how this compares to meiosis. Well, that happens in the sex cells, like the sperm and egg. Instead of making 2 cells, it makes 4 cells. they are all different. That's how we end up with different offspring. And they are haploid, which is only one copy of the DNA, or one set of chromosomes. And so if we go back, this is a human with 46 chromosomes, and then the meiosis would make 23 chromosomes. That's usually how we have looked at it before. So here's a good comparison, and this is stuff you need to understand because a lot of the questions will be based off just these 4 comparisons between the 2 stages. So if we look at the choices, they both result in 2 daughter cells. Daughter cell you'll see all throughout. That's just the ending cell, the offspring of this original cell. Well, they both result in 2. Which one results in 2? Mitosis results in 2. Okay, so that means A is wrong. They both create genetic diversity within the species. What's diversity mean? Well, diversity means different or variety. Well, which one would yield more diversity? Well, that would be meiosis, because meiosis, I'm getting different cells every time. They both begin with DNA replicating a single time. Well, no matter if I'm making 2 cells or 4 cells, I've got to make a copy of the DNA. That is because I've got to pass on a complete copy to my identical cell, or I've got to split it 2 different ways to get the 4 cells. So C is your correct answer. They both require a cell to evenly divide cytoplasm and organelles. Again, meiosis would not evenly divide those things up. And so C is the correct answer. Looking at question 3. All right. What is the correct sequence of diagrams for the cell cycle beginning with prophase? Well, hopefully you know the cell cycle to be PMAT, would actually be for mitosis. And after mitosis, you have cytokinesis. And also before mitosis, you have interphase. Well, prophase, you should have a general idea, but prophase is going to be where you see the chromosomes and you have the nucleus, but it's sort of breaking down. It's one-celled. Well, so hopefully you understand that this is prophase. Because again, you have this nucleus, but you can see the chromosomes inside there. Next, you have M. M is metaphase. Metaphase is where they line up in the middle of the cell. And so here we have this lining up here. And so this is metaphase. Once they're lined up, they have to start to pull apart. And at this point, you'll start getting 2 cells. And so that's going to be anaphase. And then the last part of mitosis is telophase. Telophase is where you start to see the nucleus start to reform, but you still have two cells. And then lastly, you have cytokinesis. We have the nucleus completely reformed, and you have this cleavage furrow, which is the pulling apart of the cytoplasm. And so if we look, we're going to go for 2, 3, 1, 5, 4. So D would be the correct answer for this question. We'll do one more question. says before a cell goes through either mitosis or meiosis, which process must be carried out by the DNA in the nucleus? Well, hopefully you were paying attention a couple of slides ago, and I've got to have a copy of the DNA to give to each new cell. A mutation, that's a change in the DNA. Transcription, that is going from DNA to mRNA. It's part of making a protein. And then translation is going from mRNA to protein. And then, of course, replication, you're making a copy of the DNA. And you got to have a copy of the DNA to go to the new cells. And so, A, replication, is of course the correct answer. Okay, I'll be back later to finish up the last few questions of this quiz. Until then, good luck.